conversation that the way that we really make money in life is solving problems. Because the bigger the problem that we solve, the more money we make. The reason that an airline pilot makes more money than a flight attendant is because the airline pilot has more education, and his problem he solves, there's a lot less people who can solve it, and he's a pricier problem to solve. So he makes more money, right? It's not any different from us. Find somebody's messy problem, and they'll pay you well to solve it. And that's what you look for, I'm thinking, Phil.
Oh, that, yeah.
And so as you're trying to find deals, people problems, property problems. Properties might have, a tree that fell through the roof, or they might have been flooded out, or they might have mold problems. People problems, divorces, job transfers, deaths, any of those kind of things. Anyway, that was for free. That wasn't even part of what we were talking about. We should get back to where we were going, huh?
A freebie.
A freebie. We need a business card from you, and we'll do a little drawing here.
Okay.
So I always like free things, and I had this Rich Dad Guide to How to Find Great Investments. So tonight's door prize is this CD. I think it will help you tremendously.
I love big good sheets.
Can you pull one of those out of there?
Take Phil's card and Stu's card out of there. They don't need to know that.
And you know what? If you don't need, sorry, if you don't need it, pass it to somebody that does, right? You're working hard at that. What you got?
Jennifer Hill.
Jennifer. Hey, that's perfect for Jennifer.
Jumpstart Jenny.
Jumpstart Jennifer.
Jumpstart Jenny. You got something to jumpstart.
You know, that was a great name. I just manifested that.
I like that. Does anybody have any deals or steals that they want to share with us? Anybody got anything they need to wholesale?
I've got one.
What you got, Blair?
I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage house in Englewood on a canal. Really fully remodeled. Newer roof, newer air conditioner, new water, a heater for the pool. The pool was put in, I think, just like 4 or 5 years ago. So it's an older home, but it's been all redone. The canal is due to be dredged here in the next few years, and I'm getting more information on that from the county. They're going to pay for it. So it's great for a flats boat right now. It is, we're selling it for $249,900. $249,900. My number is 941-223-1900.
Catch them after the meeting. Now, is that an end user price, or is there meat on the bone for an investor, Blair? What's your?
I think it's an under end, it's below end user, but it might be slightly ahead of investor. If you're a long-term investor, want buy and hold, it'd be perfect. And you're still equity in it on your way in. It's not like a screaming wholesale deal for an investor. There's really nothing to pay.
That's fair.
No.
And you know what? That's like something that we all need to know in this business is, where does our deal fit? Is this a wholesale deal because it's, there's a bunch of money on it? Or is this a wholesale deal because we want to turn it real quick and make a piece and, we don't really have the money to hang on to it and we want to move it along? Or is this an end user deal? There's nothing wrong with any of them. It's, who are we marketing to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the dollar store and shop, or you can go to the department store and you can still get a necklace with a pearl on it. So you just have to figure out which is the client for what we're doing. So, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to share a couple tips. Over the years, there's lots of things that we've all learned. And if you have some tips that you can share, I would love for you to write them down and give them to me. Because at every meeting, I want to be able to share strategies that help. When you're in the real estate business, you need to carry key tags with you all the time. You never know when you're going to pick up a deal. And the thing is, over the years, I've thrown out so many keys because I don't know what they're for. I mean, there's times that I've gone to houses that someone was wholesaling, and I've gone to the lockbox, and I've called them and I've said, I want this house. And I say, is it mine? They say, we'll meet in 2 hours. I say, I'm taking the key out of the box. It's sold. We're meeting, you're getting your deposit. Gotta have a tag for it, right? But, you know, you can't steal in slow motion. Big word. Can't steal in slow motion. In this business, if you find a good deal, you gotta do it. You gotta bite the dust. That's it. So carry those. The other thing is, the back of my management cards, they have receipts on them. So today when I met with the guy who put the faucet on, and he comes to me and he wants to be paid $50 in cash, and man, he was fantastic. I called him and it was done in 45 minutes. I love these kind of people. But I met him at Perkins. He didn't have a receipt. I handed him this. I said, I need a receipt. I need your name, your phone number, the address of where you did what you did, and the amount. So whether you use it for tenants or whether you use it, you know, because you're paying somebody, there's a couple tips. Hopefully that's beneficial. I want Phil to come up. We are talking tonight about money. You
Yes.
gotta have it.
Yes.
Phil, how many years have you been using private money?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So I bought my first property when I was 19 years old. And when I did that, it was from the bank of my good old auntie. I had an aunt who I went to and said, hey, you know, Aunt Joyce, I found this house. And you know, after doing this course, when I was really, really young, I was about 17, 18 years old, and there was a guy by the name of Carlton Sheets. You guys remember Carlton Sheets? Anybody remember Carlton Sheets? Okay. So when I was young, I did the Carlton Sheets program. He had a program called the No Money Down system. So I purchased that system. I started implementing those systems at a very, very young age, like I said, and I found a deal, went to my auntie, she financed my deal. So that was my very first deal with private money. So just so we are clear, by a show of hands in the room, how many people know the difference between private money and hard money? Most. That's good. That's really good. So some of you will probably you know, benefit from this. Some of you probably already know. But basically, my situation that I was talking about, that's a private money deal. The difference, I had kind of wrote down some stuff here for those who don't know. The difference between private money, can everybody see this? The difference between private money and hard money is that there's no financial institution for private money. Like I said, my auntie, she didn't have a she didn't have a financial institution. She wasn't a part of any business that lent money. She was just my aunt. She lent me some money. So the difference is no financial institution. Hard money, it is a financial institution, right? So there's going to be a bit of paperwork involved when you're getting funding from a financial institution. Does that make sense? Yeah. So usually that paperwork tends to be a little scary to new investors. Sometimes that paperwork, I'm sure Freedom might be able to help me on this one. Sometimes that paperwork is pretty extensive. It can be intimidating. They're asking for everything except a blood sample usually, right?
Feels like it.
Yeah. So that's the difference between hard money and private money. We're clear on that. Any questions on that? No. We're clear, right? Okay.
So now that we're friends, Phil, you can do me a private loan?
Of course.
Private money loan?
Yeah, of course. I'll talk about how Phil can actually help you in funding your deals in a little second here. Myra, you're jumping the gun. Give me a second.
That's what she's here for.
Okay, so this is the big question, right? Well, how do we find a private money lender? Where are these people at? That's really the question, right? How do we find them? The biggest thing that we always talk about in any of these meetings is networking. Networking is going to be one of the biggest components in any type of business venture that you're going to get into, especially real estate. You need to be networking with real estate agents, other investors, hard money lenders, bankers, insurance agents, title agents, contractors, you name it, you need to be letting people know, hey, listen, I'm looking for private money, I have a deal, and this is what I'm looking for. So you have to be out there networking and meeting people and building up your contact lists. Something that's really underrated in our field is lists. Joe talked about that a little bit, about lead lists. But lists are very important in our business, whether it be lead lists, contact lists, contractors, list of contractors, list of buyers, list of sellers. We have to build lists in our business, and part of that comes from networking.
I think also, like when I met with the plumber today, part of my conversation was giving him my business card and saying, hey, if you come across a rental wreck, make sure you give me a call and I'll make it really worth your while. You'll be able to go on vacation.
Right.
You know, and so no matter who you come in contact with,
Right.
you got to tell what you're doing, right?
Exactly. So real estate professionals, number one. Number two, family and friends. Like I told you about my personal situation. Family and friends is going to be, of course, another avenue for you to be networking with. Make sure you network with all of your personal family and friends. And then thirdly, your social media network. How many people are on social media by a show of hands? Social media. Social media, you need to be using your social media network to network, right? I mean, a lot of people underrate, well, I don't use Facebook. I hear that a lot of time. I don't use Facebook, or I don't use Instagram. Phil, what about me? What do I do? Start using it. Simply put, start using it. It's beneficial to any business, and it's where people are. You know, go where the people are. People are on social media.
It's not just Facebook, it's LinkedIn.
It's
There's a whole group of
Instagram.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Instagram's.
So are you under Fix It Flip, Fix It Phil?
Fixer Upper Phil on Facebook, yes. Fixer Upper Phil on Facebook, yes. But make sure you're utilizing your social media network for networking. That's what it's for. So if you don't have it, get one. They're free. It's free and it works. So make sure you do it. Okay, so we talked about building your network. The other thing you're going to need to do is get some marketing materials, right? You're going to need to get marketing materials. It's very, very important, because if you, like Chanel said, you meet a plumber, you don't got a business card. Write it on a napkin. Let's look at some professionals. So you want to make sure that business cards are really, really cheap. Vistaprint is a place to go. Very cheap for business cards. Make sure you get some business cards. That's the first piece of marketing material that you're going to need. Very important. The next piece of marketing material you're going to need is a credibility packet. Now, what's a credibility packet? A credibility packet, it's a little packet that we put together, maybe a little description of your business, what you do, what your goals are, what your company's goals are, your experience, your skill set, your education. Maybe you don't have formal education in real estate, or maybe you don't have experience in real estate. Well, maybe you was mentored by someone. Maybe you're partnering with someone. Those mentors and those partners have experience. Use that as part of your credibility. But you got to build credibility with a private money lender. If you want people to trust you with their money, you got to build a rapport with them. So it's very important that you're building rapport with these private money lenders. Very, very important. These are people with money, and you need to build a relationship when you're asking anyone to loan you money. Right? We lend money to people who we feel comfortable with, not people who we feel uncomfortable with. So it's your job, it's our jobs, to make the private money lender feel comfortable lending you their money. Makes sense, right? And how credit report, that's very good. Part of your credibility packet is how credible you are. So of course your credit report's gonna probably be in there about everything about you. This is my goals, this is what I've done. It's almost like a little resume about yourself. But it's geared toward, here's why I'm gonna pay your money back. This is the deal, here's what I've done, here's my experience, here's my skill set. This is why this deal is gonna work. This is why you should invest in me and my company. Right? Okay, credibility packets. Okay, so after we have our marketing materials, whether it be credibility packets and business cards, two very important pieces, the next thing that we're gonna have to do is prepare a pitch. That's the next thing we need to do, prepare a pitch. So make sure that we put together and we feel very comfortable talking to private money lenders. That means that we've already put together our marketing materials, we know what it says, we know what we do, we have a clear vision, a clear mission statement on our business and our company, where we're gonna invest, right? How much we're looking for ROI, as far as how much profit we're trying to make, and why we'll be able to sell this deal. Do we have agents that work on our team? Vice versa, go ahead.
Two things, ROI, return on investment, not
Yes.
everybody knows what that is.
Perfect,
The
thank
other
you.
thing is it's an elevator pitch. You wanna be able to do it between the first and third floor, inside an elevator, something that's quick, simple, and repeatable all the time.
Anybody hear that?
Let's
That is
hear
exactly
your
right.
elevator pitch. Please. Go on, Stu.
What I notice, what is really, really helpful, and I'm gonna go back to this again, and I can't talk about this enough, and can't stress this enough. Social media works. If you do a live video, like Myra's been doing a lot of live videos, if you do a live video on social media, pitching your company, it's clutch, it's effective. You can do your elevator pitch, you can record it. Record your elevator pitch. Let people know, and then you take that elevator pitch and you just blast it all over your social media platforms. But be comfortable talking about your elevator pitch. Be comfortable, practice it, memorize it, and make sure that you are on the spot when someone says, well, hey, what do you do? Tell me about your company. You know exactly what to say because you practiced it. Matter of fact, you watched yourself, rehearse it, and you watched a video of yourself doing it. So be very comfortable with your pitch. Very, very important. Any questions as far as that goes? No questions. Okay.
What's your elevator pitch? Can you give us a?
Well, I usually do it here. I'm Mr. Upper Phil, and this is what we do. You know, we do residential remodels and new constructions and do wholesale deals. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. I had my first property when I was 19 years old. You know, so that's pretty much in a nutshell what my elevator pitch is. But it's catered to you and what you have done. Even if you haven't done anything in real estate, you can say, hey, well, I've been in sales for 5 years. I've been living in this area for 10 years. I know the people, you know. I have a big family. I come from a big family. You know, we're really close-knit family, so we share everything. So I know how to make sure that people are getting the even share. Whatever you have to say that you have experience in, you're trying to get, like I said, you're trying to build rapport. You're trying to
Selling yourself.
Selling yourself. I like that. You're selling yourself. But this is how you build rapport. As if you was going to have any type of other relationship, whether it be a relationship with someone of the opposite sex, or a friendship, or even a sibling relationship, you're building rapport. And you have to make sure that you understand that that's what we're doing. I like what Chanel said about trying to find, or trying to, what did you say, something about trying to solve a problem? Is that what you said?
We make money solving problems.
Solving problems. So there's two mindsets in investing that I say, and I feel it's either how can I help or what's in it for me. If you go into deals with the mindset of what's in it for me, immediately with private money, you'll turn off a private money lender easily. Just like that, when you're thinking about what's in it for me. Any private money lender, if you're pitching to them with the, here's what's in it for me, you'll lose them. The way to pitch to a private money lender is what's in it for them.
Right.
What's the solution?
Here's how I can help. Here's how I can help you. That's very important. It's the mindset of how we're going to actually pitch to these private money lenders. So in your pitch, make sure you include, here's how I can help you. Here's how much more you could be making on that investment, rather than putting it in that CD account, rather than using that money market account. Here's how I can help you. So keep that, that's very important as far as pitching for private money. Any questions on that? Something that you have to be very, very clear on too, as far as private money, is making sure that we talk about the split, the profit split, what your goal is. Here's my timeline. Here's what the profit's gonna be. That's gotta be very clear to private money, because those are the things that they're worried about mostly. When am I gonna get my money back, and how? So that's very important to include in your pitch. Any questions on the pitch?
Are you going to tell us some of your formulas in a minute? Of course you are. I'm sorry. I'll keep my mouth shut.
some formulas as far as what? As far as pitching?
No, when you're pitching, what formulas do you tell them for what they're going to get paid?
That's a good question. Okay, so right now, currently the market for hard money lending and private money lending is somewhere between 10 and 14%. I have paid 13%, upwards to 14% to hard money lenders to complete deals. We're talking about deals, not wholesale deals, rehab deals. Frida can probably speak on this because she is a hard money lender. Frida, how much are the rates going for nowadays?
If you want a 30-year PIT, how long we could do it for as low as 5.5%.
Very good rate.
We
30
also,
years.
and for hard money, which is normally 12 months, it can go as long as 18 months. It starts off at like usually 9.9% based on your experience and your credit.
Right.
But we do have no credit loans also.
There you go. Starting at 9.9 hard money. Right? Okay. So really good rates. That's what the rates are currently, and that's basically standard. Basically standard. Now going to what I use, right? So we'll talk about what I use in this page here. So basically, what I'm now offering to a lot of investors, what's been happening to me, my personal experiences, people will call me up and say, hey, Fixer Upper Phil, I have a deal. Can you just look over this for me and tell me if you think it's a good deal or not? And of course, my wife hates when I do this, but I just offer my time willingly. Yes, I'll do it. That's my problem. I say yes all the time. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I love real estate. I love what I do. So when someone calls me with a real estate deal, I'm all ears. Like, well, what is it? What's going on? I want to know. So I love it that much. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was 19 years old, and I really, really love real estate. I love talking about it, and I love doing it. So it's hard for me to say no when someone calls and asks questions about a real estate deal that they're working on. But I do have 3 little kids, right? And
Princesses.
and they're all female. Yes, I have a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 7-year-old.
They all want party dresses.
And they all want princess dresses, and they love Disney World. And Disney World is expensive, right? So so now what I do is I do for a small fee offer deal review. So if anyone needs to contact me to review their deal, I give more than my fair share of my time, for sure, every single time. You'll get way more than just me reviewing your deal, but I do for a small fee offer deal review. You can find me at Fixer Upper Phil on Facebook. Here's my number here, 888-5448. Or you can email me at fixerupperphil@gmail.com. Now the good stuff, right? My affiliate lending partner, Patch of Land, has a landing page for me, which is patchofland.com/Philip Holloway. You can go there and get the deal that I get from my loan originator. So you go to this landing page, my loan originator will be able to help you, walk you through any fix or flip deals, rental loans, commercial, multifamily or multi-unit loans. We do all of that. So if you guys need a hard money lending referral, patchofland.com/Philip Holloway. And that's where you'll find my landing page for our hard money deals. Any questions?
I can vouch for Phil, Patch of Land, and Joe.
Yes,
They work very hard.
Yes, Joe Zanaboni, correct. And I've been working with Joe Zanaboni for many years. With another company, he moved to Patch of Land. Still working with Joe Zanaboni. Friend of mine and a good colleague, great affiliate. It's a great company, and I would definitely recommend them if you guys look for hard money. That's it. No more questions, right? That's it. This is the time where you guys get to talk and say whatever you want. This is okay. Go ahead. That's a good question. Like Frida said, it varies based on experience, based on your personal assets, and based on your personal situation. So credit and all that good stuff. Any other questions? Really? Okay. Oh, Frida.
What's the time, usually timelines for the loans? Is it 5 months, 6 months, a year?
Okay, so they do 1-year loans, they do 6-month loans as well. I believe they have a 30-year product as well.
Usually how fast can they close?
7 days is the soonest, but we usually take about 14 days to close.
I just want to say that my husband and I have sat with Phil. He's a wealth of knowledge, and whatever questions you bring to him, he's there to answer them and give you more than what you asked for. So he's well worth the visit.
Thank you. That's it.
So, I have a friend from church whose mom just passed away, and she has about $750,000. And I was chatting with her, and she said that last year that money in the stock market and the CDs from her mom. She just let it sit there. She didn't know what she wanted to do. Brought in $7,000. And she said, I mean, I could have paid off my house and not had interest to pay, but my financial advisor said, well, don't do that. And so we've been going out to lunch after church for the last few weeks, just because I have the solution for her problem. And I can secure her money so that she won't lose any money. I think that when people lend money, they want a return on their money, but more importantly, they don't want to lose their money.
Right.
You want it safe.
So my experience is that when you're using other people's money, you have got to give them some kind of such security that they are assured they're not going to lose their money. And in this lady's case, she's already looked out there and she realizes like 3% is about the most she could pull in.
From a bank, yeah.
So what kind of an offer could I make her for her money to make her happy?
Real estate.
There's all kinds of answers to that, right? But something above those numbers.
Anything over 3. Anything over 3.
Real estate.
That'll work.
Yeah, so as you're, talking with people and you run into somebody, I'm not sure that your first deal gets to be through private money that you're not related to. I'm not sure that you could build that. I don't know, maybe you're a really sweet talker, but that probably isn't the credibility level yet. Is that how you describe it probably?
I would agree. I would say that if you're a newbie investor and you don't have the network, like as we talked about building, then you would be able to go with a partner, someone who does have the credibility. So that's a way around that. If you're like, hey, I'm new, I don't know anyone, I just moved to the area, well, you can go to meetings like this and you can meet people who do have the experience, who will partner with you. And I think that that's the fastest way. I know I've done that several times where I've joint ventured with other investors, and they've showed me a thing or two, and they've helped me and coached me on a couple of things. And not only that, then I was able to say, I'm using their credibility. So there are, it's not like you're dead in the water if you don't know anybody. There's someone who knows someone, usually. And coming to these meetings is just a way to find that someone who knows someone.
A couple other things that you can do for that person that would be private money. You'd give them a mortgage on the house. You could put their name on the deed with you, because that provides them with some guarantees.
Security.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what you're doing is how do you layer this so people feel safe?
Right. So I can talk about an
I
experience.
have a crazy example.
Oh, go ahead.
5 years ago, I was buying a lot of real estate because the market was low, really 6 or 7. And people heard what I was doing, and the realtors couldn't get rid of their properties because nobody had cash to do them. So I'm getting calls 2-3 times a week for stuff. And I'm signing these deals, and then I'm flipping them as fast as I can. But somebody out there heard that I was doing that, and he called me and he said, you're Chanel, I heard about you, I have $250,000, and I just drove by a house out in my area that's a wreck, it's a bank-owned house. If you can figure out how to secure that house, I'll put the money up, and you figure out how to get it renovated, and we'll split the profit. Go figure, right? Crazy, we split $60,000. He actually put the property in my name. How does that happen? You develop a reputation that's impeccable. Like, you can't screw people for $2,000.
Never.
Or
Can't get it back.
40,000. Because your name is going out over the airwaves faster than Donald Trump and the DNC.
Yeah, we live by our reputations. And like we talked about earlier, I talked about credibility. If you're not credible, this is not going to work for you. So you have to, like Chanel said, build a rapport and build your credibility. I could talk about an experience that I had as a private money lender. And I think Chanel was touching on this a little bit, about secured loans and unsecured loans. So what do we want to give our private money lenders? A sense of security, right? So how do we secure and give them a sense of security? How we secure our loan rather than unsecuring our loan, right? Well, how we secure our loan is with real property. like Chanel was talking about. So you can say, hey, if I'm lending, what we call like gap funding, so if I went to Frida and borrowed 100,000, but I still needed 50,000 to do the rehab, if Frida was only lending me 100, I'd need, the gap would be 50,000. I can go to a private money lender and get that 50,000, but they're gonna say, I need you to secure this. I don't know you, so secure it for me. And I can say, well, I have some vacant land, or I have my property that I'm living in, or maybe what about my car, or whatever you can secure the loan with, that makes the private money lender feel secure, that he won't be losing money, or he has some sort of recourse if you don't pay. Then this sweetens the deal for the private money lender. Hey, listen, you're lending me this money, and I'm paying you back this interest, but wait, there's more, right? We get to secure it with real property. So it's a no-brainer for the investor.
So especially if you have other properties.
Correct.
That's where that comes to
Correct.
place.
Correct.
I mean, those guys look at a portfolio of $1 million or $750,000, and they're chomping at the bit.
Of course.
Just lend you money.
Yeah, because they know, hey, listen, if you don't pay us back, we're taking some of that property.
Uh-huh.
You know. Go ahead.
And
Like you
it's not
said-
dumps anymore.
One of the easiest things we tell people, if you want to borrow money and you have a property that's clear and free, that's the easiest loan, quickest loan we can do, because you're securing your property.
Right.
And for us, that's a no-brainer to do. All we do is have someone come out, look at your property to be sure it's worth what you say it is, and there you are. Like
You
you
know
said, oh, sorry.
Frida walked in just as we were doing introductions, and some of you may not know her. Do you want to just stand up and give us a 30-second introduction with your phone number, Frida?
Hello, my name is Frida Chambers. First, I'd like to say I'm a retired soldier. I'm happy to be here in this nice, warm, sunny area after living
Thank
an
you for
hour.
your service.
And I'm a hard money lender. I do lend money. My goal is to lend money. My logic is if you have a property, I can fund it. You don't have to have a job, because we know most investors don't have 9-to-5 jobs. We just want to be sure you can show a way to pay us back. We don't want your property to own. Our goal is not to really take your property. Our goal is to really lend you money. And I am the person, we've been in business 10 years. I'm not new. We're not new to the business. I've been in, and I'm a retired soldier. I've been around the world. Every property I've owned, we've rehabbed it. So I really hands-on, and we physically rehabbed it ourselves, so we know the business. But we have funded deals for people here in the area, and we can fund Canadian nationals. And because we've been in business so long, we are proficient, and we do work with people. And I'm the person on ground here that I will come to you, talk to you, hold your hand, and do whatever it takes. But like he was saying, their goal is for you to be able to show us how we can get our money back. We don't want your property, we want the money back. And my goal is, if you have a property, I can finance it. Thank you.
Thanks, Frida.
Thanks, Rita. I moved your plate.
Anybody else have any
Sure,
questions
get it.
about private money or hard money? Where to find it, how to go about getting it, what we should be doing? Elena?
If someone's interested in being a private money lender, how much money do they have to have?
That's a really good question. She's talking about a passive income strategy. Everybody understand passive income?
Yes.
Okay, so she's talking about, now I have money sitting in the bank and I want to be able to lend it to other people. How much money do I need to have to start lending money to people and getting into money passively? I've borrowed as least as $2,000 before. Now why, actually, Phil, why would you borrow just $2,000? Well, I took that $2,000 and I was able to use it for a deposit, an EMD, an earnest money deposit on a property, just to secure the contract. I then took that contract and assigned it, which is what we call a wholesale deal, and I made $15,000. So yeah, that's why I did it. So how much money do you need to borrow to actually start lending?
Get started.
Get started
What
in
does it
lending?
take to get started?
As little as $2,000.
I started in the business. I was a commercial mortgage underwriter, but I was mismarried, and we were financial idiots. We owed the IRS $100,000,
Oh.
and when you owe the IRS money, your credit is blocked from getting any money. And so my very first real estate deal came from funding from the Bank of Mom, because my mom and dad had seen how I lived, my work ethic, how I handled things, and they recognized, they were able to look at that picture and go, well, here's what's going on. And so I went and I found a great deal. And my mom had said, hey, if you find a great deal, let me know. And so she got 50% of the profit on the end. I spent every weekend and a couple nights a week working on the house and getting a couple people to come in and do the things that they could do. And I did a huge amount of work on the house, but we split $15,000. And the day I got my $7,500, I looked at that and I was like, I know how to make money. I don't have to go to an employer to get a paycheck. I have figured out how to solve a problem and bring money in. It is the most liberating feeling, isn't it, Phil?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You no longer have to feel like, oh, we're slaves. We'll never, the world doesn't pay me enough money for breathing its air. Like, that's the most stupid mentality on earth, because it's not going to get you anywhere, right?
Once you do it, then no one could ever tell you it can't be done. I have a mentor, Bob Proctor, who says the Wright brothers, as soon as they took their first flight, no one was saying, you can't fly airplanes,
Right.
airplanes. They would look at them and say, oh yes, you can. We've done it.
Yeah.
So that could just keep that in mind when you have naysayers saying, well, that can't be done. But if you've already done something, you can look at them and say, it can be done. I've already done it. Maybe you can't do it, but I've already done it. I'll show you how I did it. That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I had a realtor from Remax today tell me that you can't wholesale in Florida. You did tell me today.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did tell
We
me
do it
today.
all the time.
I know.
After your first wholesale deal, go back to that realtor and say,
Yeah.
hey, you want me to teach you how to wholesale? Go back to that
He
realtor
said
and
to
say,
me,
I'll teach you how to
No,
wholesale.
Phil, keep it a secret.
And then he-
Let
and
the
then-
fools be fools.
And then he said to me, why would a buyer want to wholesale from you when they can come to me?
Wow.
That's what he said tonight. He
No,
was not very happy with me.
Don't try and educate.
that's okay.
Just tell him he's right.
Let
I
him
know
go
when people
wrong
tell
path
me
of
stuff that
ways.
I'm not on their page, I just say, you're right.
I told him that he should come to the meeting tonight. I said, you should come to the meeting tonight we're having. And he's like,
Something I do want to say though, to be very fair with investors and agents and people who are in the real estate industry, let's not put them all together.
Yes.
Not everybody has the same amount of
That's
knowledge.
true.
These are different jobs. A real estate agent's job is different from an investor's job, and just like an investor's job is different from a property manager's job or a home inspector's job. All of these people have knowledge of the real estate industry, but they're totally different jobs. So any real estate agent that says, oh, well, you can do this and you can flip it like this, I just say, ask them, have you flipped? Are you also an investor?
Are you experienced?
Are you an investor? Because if they say no, well then you shouldn't be taking advice from someone who hasn't done it before. It doesn't make any sense to have a hole in your roof and call a plumber. Why? Call a roofer. They'll know how to help you. So same thing. If you're trying to talk about investing and you're going to a real estate agent who doesn't invest,
I wasn't going to.
Probably-
I was
no, no, I'm not
trying to
saying
talk
you,
about a
I'm just-
property.
no, not you. I'm just trying to say to make a distinction.
It was supposed to be it was listed as the person was selling it, like the person, and then a realtor called me back. He's like, oh, you were
Yeah.
trying to reach the owner who was selling this property, and it was and I was like, no,
That
that's,
happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, from
But-
Zillow?
huh?
Zillow
Yeah,
Zillow
but we
sells
gotta
those
make a clear
leads out.
distinction that is.
You put your name and number on a for sale by owner, they're selling those leads out to anybody and
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. But there are different jobs, and so
So
I just
that-
want to let everybody in the room
Oh,
know
do that again.
that if you're looking for advice
past
about
the hole.
investing, and you're going to someone that doesn't invest, you're
Yes,
probably
sir.
not going to get
Past
the right
the hole.
I
advice.
stopped and figured it
Yeah.
out who the
Probably.
owner
And
was.
I'd like to say, like, for people like
Who the
Myra,
property
right?
manager.
Myra's a real estate investor, but what's really neat about Myra is Myra could be out showing somebody a property and go into that property and realize, oh, this property has a mold problem. And the first thing Myra's gonna do is look at that mess, write an offer up real quick and get it over to the other agent, because nobody and their brother's buying that property. People buy properties with their eyes. We all buy with our eyes, don't we?
Yes.
We buy things that are nice and lovely. People don't buy houses that smell like cat urine with mold.
Oh my
Houses.
But
One
most of
pink
the
wall.
stuff, but just a second, most of the stuff that realtors sell, that's not what they sell.
Right.
So Myra has a glorious advantage because she's out there on a daily basis looking at these properties, and when she sees one that she goes, this is not selling at retail, because we talked about retail, wholesale, even under wholesale. The one I bought a month ago was way under wholesale. So the thing is, realtors have a great advantage if their dish network is tuned to the right place, right? I mean, because the
Keep
thing
your
is,
eyes
if your
and ears
dish
open.
isn't turned right, you're not picking up the right waves, the right radio waves, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, we all have different jobs, like Janelle was saying. Fortunately for Myra, Myra is both a realtor and an investor, right? So she has a different outlook on things, and she has a different skill set, whereas some realtors are just realtors. So we have to make sure that we're getting the right information from the right people. You have a question?
I'm working currently with the real estate agent who used to be a flipper, who's now a real estate agent. So he's got the knowledge of what I'm looking
That's
for.
perfect. Okay.
And I've got one that he handed me that's gutted, looks like there was a fire there. I was like, what do you do with that?
Is that a question? I have an answer. Yes. What do you do with that? Her question was, she found a property that was damaged by fire, and she says, what do we do with that?
Do not enter.
Do not enter. You know, county says it's not livable. You know, I love that when the
Make
county
off.
comes in.
Oh, yeah.
The county says it's not livable. I bought a property in Northport on Slade Road. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Slade Waterway, but I bought a property on Slade Road.
Wait, Phil, you can't tell this. Next month, we're gonna talk about creative deals that we've
Okay.
done. You're gonna come back.
But wait, there's more.
He
Okay,
started.
No, but I wanna share two more ways, for getting financing, because I really wanna hit on financing, but the thing is, we have, and Blair has some great creative things too, so that's what we're gonna talk about next month, is like some creative ways that we've done stuff. Don't y'all wanna know this?
Yes.
Like, this is how you do it. This is what nobody's telling. You know, it's the craziest thing. All those people that send papers in the mail to you that say, come to our free seminar, they're selling like $10, $20, $30, $40,000 seminars.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But wait,
I hate it. They're taking your
Get your grandma
$40,000 and you
over
can
here.
never do a deal. Go to the RIAs. Go to every RIA you can find.
Yeah, but
Learn as
you-
much as you can.
You didn't know about the RIAs until they told you about it, and so.
Well,
every
they're
RIA
on the meetup. It's okay. I'm just, I'm just saying, be really wise. Be wise with your money.
Well, we are now, and all of us.
I'm not putting you down.
All of us learned.
Don't throw tomatoes at me.
Because they told us about the RIAs.
Did they? Good.
Yes.
I want to talk about two other ways. First of all, how many people are here tonight for the very first time? Anybody never been here? Guess we got to do a better job marketing, huh? Okay. The first thing that I want to talk about is my son and his wife were married a couple years ago, and 6 months later they bought their first home. And Joshua had watched me for years. I've done somewhere in the 70s of properties, rehabs. That wasn't counting flips, just that was like the touching them or holding them kind of things. And so he's seen all the junk, the wrecks that I've bought over the years. And so he went out and he found a foreclosed home from the bank in a nice neighborhood in Cape Coral. It had a pool, but it was ugly.
right.
And it had enough problems that the normal buyer wouldn't buy the house. So he called me and he's like real excited about this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 2,000 square feet. Mom, I can get this house for $150,000. So he's telling me this story, and I said, you know, I just heard that there's a loan out there for houses that need rehab. And so we looked into it, and he called about 4 mortgage brokers, and none of them knew about that loan. And I said, listen, I need you to call Stacy Bohannon. She's down in Cape Coral. That's a good number to put in your pocket if you needed that particular loan too. And Stacy went through and said, hey, here's what the loan is called. And what happens is when you close on this loan, you're gonna put away 150% of what the appraiser says it's gonna cost to fix your house. And after the loan closes, the appraiser is going to go back out after you finish the stuff, and he's going to give you a clear appraisal, and the title company is going to return the 150% that you gave them at closing to cover the repairs. So he proceeded on this loan, and then he goes, by the way, Mom, I don't have 150%, I just have the 3% I needed to close. So I was able to get the money to him for those repairs. And the day after he closed, I promptly called my repair people and said, I need a valve in the bathroom, I need the AC fixed, I need a garbage disposal put in, and whatever else they needed, a little patch on the roof. And so within 4 months, he got that 150% back, and I think it was $1,000 worth of repairs that we needed to give him $1,500 for, and I think when it was all done, we did it for less than $500. So I'm throwing that out there for you because if you have good credit, you can always buy a house for yourself that way and do your first deal that way. Like, money is cheap for your own personal house. The cheapest money really is your own personal house. So if that is, you know, if you can make that work for you, I want to encourage you to jump on it and take advantage of it. And I think that's the details for that. But
Do you have her phone number?
I do, and I'll be happy to get it for you after the meeting. Because the thing is, you know, working with the people that specialize in what they specialize in is the key in life to getting stuff done fast, right? You know, so, okay. How do you go to the local bank, the local community bank, and get a loan for your properties? I was a commercial money lender, and so I am gonna suggest to you that you put a package together about yourself like we used to put together when we were doing a $10 million apartment complex. Because those buyers who were buying those complexes, they put together several things. They put together a brief business plan. I'm buying it for this, it'll rent for this, when we're all done, we'll have this much LTV, here's where my $200,000 down is coming from. I'm currently managing this many properties. I've been doing it for this many years. The name of my accountant is. The name of the maintenance company that does my stuff is. You put that together. We're gonna call it a bank book. You're literally gonna get a nice 3-ring binder and put all those details in it. Please don't get a black, cheesy, crappy looking binder to take to your banker. Do one that looks nice, that represents the excellence that you are, and put that in there. You're gonna wanna put your financial statement in there. How much are you worth? How much equity do you have in your home? The car that's paid for, what's it worth? When did you buy it? How long have you been driving it? These all help bankers see your personality. If you just graduated from college, well then use the professor that you got an A and she called you the rising star. Get a referral letter for her. Do everything that you can to make yourself look amazing to the bank. The community banks are doing portfolio lending. They're lending out of their own money. They're gonna be 5-year loan kind of things. This is not gonna be sold on the FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie, Sally. It's not going to those markets. It's staying in the bank. But the thing is, those are the kind of banks that you can put 2 or 3 properties together that you have equity and get them to loan you a little bit more money for the next deal. So can you see where it makes sense to work with those kind of banks? What else would I put in my bank book? I'd put 2 years of tax returns. In my case, I put a copy of my leases that look like they're made of titanium. I put forms. I put Ron, who did the deal with me, and put the property in my name. I put a letter from him to say how quickly we did it and what we did. I put some pictures of stuff I've done. And when you go, look professional. Like,
It's no different than in business.
it's
As you're building your portfolio and you're, you know, I started off with very small companies doing electronics and ended up working with companies like Pitney Bowes, Clairol, Caterpillar, John Deere, Hyster, Toyota. So, you know, you start here and you end up here and you build that portfolio as you go along.
Thank you, Stuart, yeah. So, I actually, do you have any questions about that? Does that make sense? Is that new to you? Is that something you've heard people tell you to do before, you haven't done?
Just get up.
Does anybody have one done? A bank book? Okay, just pass these out. I made a few copies of the things that I wanted to recommend that you would put in there. I know some of you are diligently writing down. There you go.
Wow.
In the end, we have to.
That makes it easier.
In the end, you know, it's gonna take some money to do that.
Me too.
Blair's the only one here who had a deal this month. So Blair, this is for you. We get payday bars. We get paydays. Anybody else deserve a payday bar? Thank you. You didn't share with us. You're gonna have to stand up and share.
I get paid on my rentals every month.
I wanna hear your elevator pitch.
Do you wanna tell us about your deal? It encourages us, it helps us.
I'm a realtor and an investor, and there was a house that a guy owned that he bought 10 years ago to flip and never did. And over 10 years, he's had a 10% interest on